Bonjour, everybody. Jake and I were chatting behind the scenes, and we forgot about going live. Sorry. Slimmeroony, how you doing, fatty? Pouncy is getting all bouncy. How you doing? Where's Wiz? I'm here, mate. I'm here. And Roberto, the man that single-handedly keeps the channel going.
The USA. Good man, Uncle Bob. Very good man.
Yep. That's what they're going to say when I finally pop my clocks. They're going, oh, well, Wiz was.
Like tis was.
Yeah, that's what it twigged in my head. Tis was. Hence why I thought I'd try and be funny about it. But yes, this has only been up for what, 2 weeks to actually review this, and we've finally got here.
And you'll be really disappointed by it, I'm sure. It won't be worth the wait, but thank you for waiting.
Yeah, and literally we start 26 minutes and 23 seconds in because it's all intros, then countdown to the debate and all that rubbish. So I've literally got it where they've just come up on stage and, you know, they're there. Literally, they are there.
Very nice. There's something that's really important to say about this as well before we start with it. But there's a couple of debates that I saw today that I thought I would mention just in case people wanted to watch them. I didn't send them to you, Wiz, because there's not really anything I'd want to comment on them because they're actually quite a good discussion where people, for one, respectful discussion. And there's one that is Young Bob with someone from Antifa. It's only about 6 minutes long, but that's actually a surprisingly agreeable conversation where there's far more common than you would think. And then the other one that I thought was really good is this Edge of the Matrix, and he's in Cardiff and speaks to a young gay man who obviously believes in the trans thing. But they have quite a long discussion, and this young lad, although he pushes back, actually do have a really good and respectful discussion. And it just goes to show that if you listen, then and query things respectfully, you can have a decent discussion with somebody that you completely disagree with.
Yep. Yeah, I'm hoping at some point there's going to be something that comes up where you and I disagree. It's getting annoying that we're always on the same wavelength.
I'm sure that will happen. Well,
yeah, at some point.
I thought that England played really well last night, and I was really proud of the way they went out.
Yeah, as soon as we scored that goal and took Morgan off, I thought we're screwed. We've gone defensive modes. What a load of crap. I knew straight away because Egypt done the same. And a few teams go, right, let's go defensive. Right, this is Argentina, mate. They will keep peppering it, and the odds are in their favour to score. I knew straight away. So
why didn't they Ollie Watkins on and just back it down to him? That would have made much more sense than bringing on another defender because we looked like we were in control in the first half. They're nothing special, Argentina.
No, but I thought they were intimidating, bullying snowflakes.
Yeah. Well, and I would rather they went last night 4-0 and got an absolute pasting if they'd gone in for every single challenge. They'd really gone all out attack. I wouldn't have minded if they'd got hit on the counter, got, you know, like I say, lost 4-0. To go out like that, fucking gay.
Yep. Agreed. A scam on my Discord. Oh, God. How would I...
Foxy Pouncy. I just mentioned to Wiz, Foxy was in the chat on Dan Wharton last night. So I think he's doing a bit better, and hopefully he'll be back here at some point.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, it's good to know that he's out and about. Right, let's quickly check my Discord. Bloody scam. I don't know if I can delete stuff, can I? I really like it. I can.
And I have to say, I'm glad to see Nelly is here, the Queen of the North. Always good to see you.
Oh, but I've not been on here for ages. I won't even know where to look.
I don't even
actually
know.
I bet it's Pouncy doing the scamming, isn't this? Or scrolling through it, or
must be spent all of his pips, so he's scamming everyone. That Pouncy. Yeah, where's Richards as well? Haven't seen him for a while. Probably with his bird.
I don't know. E2 City is there. Not find. Oh yeah, it's E2 City boys posting the same thing up with Mr. Beast everywhere. Delete.
Right.
Delete. Right. Yep. Yeah, okay. Right. The whiz is on it. I'm deleting it. He's been here though. He's in the chat. So oh well.
I think it's also worth mentioning, because we haven't had a chance really to say how awful it was to hear about what happened with Anne Widdecombe. Absolutely appalling, shocking thing to happen to someone who I think has been one of the most consistently conservative Tories that we've ever had, although obviously she jumped ship later on. A wonderful orator, wonderfully gifted verbally and intellectually, and someone that had an enormous amount of integrity. And although I wouldn't necessarily agree with her Catholic beliefs, I admire the dedication she had to her faith, and the fact that a 70-year-old woman living on her own, regardless of who it was, gets killed like that is absolutely disgraceful. And things that on the left have are beyond the pale, especially that fucking trans arsehole who I think has been arrested now.
Yeah, I did see that, because even that what's his name, Peter Factual or whatever, even he put something up and then deleted it because he got ruined on there.
So he should have done bloody nonce. I mean,
yeah,
he just supports all of that stuff. Anything for the left, he supports it. Says the most vile things, and he's a horrible person.
He is. Yeah, I got the scam Pouncy, the Mr. Beast thing. It's gone. I was quite shocked. Like when it first come out, I tweeted going, "Oh, this white British male arrested. Is this the sort of like the cover up story, or is it actually real? Do you know what I mean?" And it worked out. It was well, I don't know what it was, but it wasn't the actual story, was it? Because it's not politically motivated. Oh, by the way, we think it's politically motivated, and it's not terrorist attack, but the terrorism squad are on it.
Yeah, and also initially it just said that she died, because in that morning I took my ma shopping, and I said to her, Anne Widdecombe's dead, and she went, "Oh yeah, isn't that terrible?" And then obviously later on it came out, no, she was murdered. But I think what you have to do is be very, very careful about making links between things that might look obvious but aren't necessarily true. So I think, for example, what you just said was a really good point, that they told us that counter-terrorism from 2 constabularies were involved, but it's nothing to do with terrorism. That obviously is ridiculous. The problem there was quite clearly the police. They were desperate to come out and say, "Don't worry, it wasn't a Muslim, and we've got someone, it's fine, don't kick off." And then instead of actually waiting until they had accurate information, they just ran with whatever they had. And it would have been better, really, if they'd left it until perhaps the Monday before they made the announcement. And because there's a gap in information, what always happens when there's a gap in information is people will make assumptions and they will speculate about things. There's a lot to speculate about, I have to say, but what I think is important is to remember that we should try to stick to the facts. And the facts are that we know that she was murdered, we know how she was murdered, and we know that it's possibly linked to terrorism. That is it. Anything beyond that is speculation at this point in time. And the stories that we've been told are speculation at this time. And of course, everyone has been saying it sounds like a patsy, because it's perfect scenario for where you would expect that sort of situation to happen. And of course, it's got the typical reclusive loner, who is supposedly some communist fanatic, never leaves the house. The car had weeds growing in it, but yet he managed to drive 300 miles, or he got his mate to give him a lift for 300 miles and then came back. And the other thing that I think is really worth saying is, I don't know about you or anyone else in the chat, but I've never heard of an assassination job where you smash someone's head in. Assassination job is usually something that's very quick and you get out.
Yeah, it's it was not my definition of an assassin. Or it's your first ever attempt at being an assassin and you didn't have a clue what to do or how to do it.
Yeah, but even so, you would, if you were to assassinate someone, then the obvious weapon would be a knife, not a bloody pole.
Yeah, or being that she's a 78-year-old lady and you're obviously a young, strong, fit man, being an assassin, you can quickly like boom, pull and strangle with either a metal wire or a bit of rope, thin rope, easy strangulation, job done.
Absolutely.
It would be like you say, an assassin's job. Wow, that was quiet. But it was 24 hours until she was found. But to be honest, you could have gone in there with literally an Uzi or anything. No one would have heard a thing because she's in the middle of nowhere, isn't she? I was saying that she's got neighbours, actually, hasn't she?
Yeah. But if you wanted to go down that route, I don't particularly, because I don't think you should speculate. But I know that people are, so we'll end in the eye of the storytelling. If it were an assassination, what I would expect to have happened in this situation is that somebody would have gone in with perhaps some sort of lethal injection, done that first to make sure the job was done, and then done the injuries post-mortem, so it looks like a burglary that's gone wrong. That would be plausible. Yep. I don't think that is what's happened. And nope. I don't think we're not going to know until the trial, if there is one, if they find out who's actually done it. And it's really easy to sit and say, oh, this looks really suspicious and that looks really suspicious, and it does look very suspicious, but that doesn't mean that it is. It's just that's how we choose to interpret it.
Yeah, I work out that profile picture as me.
Yeah, good one. But I genuinely hope that they do find who did it and that there is justice for Anne, because I think that she was a great personality, if nothing else. If you didn't believe in her politics, then you had to at least admire her personality and the charisma that she had. This tiny woman that was about 5 foot tall, yet could talk down anyone.
Yeah, I mean, blimey. It shocked me when I heard about it. I thought, well, because straight away, as a woman, regardless of her age, when it's a woman, you're like, well, blimey, they're defenseless against a male who's going to go psycho. Do you know what I mean? They are genuinely, like, you know.
Yeah.
And then, you know, add on that she's 78, add on that she spent, 30, 40 years in the world of politics trying to do what she believes is right for the country, and this is how it ends. It's shocking. It's awful, really. But
really?
Like you say, there's no point speculating.
No, and one thing that I think is a concern, that I don't know if it will go down this route, but I wouldn't be surprised, is that there is the possibility that because they're associating it with politics and terrorism, that perhaps this is going to be an excuse to start labeling people who are far right as actually not just far right, but actual terrorists. Because then it's been up just one more than just being, you're not just a racist, you're not just far right, you're actually a terrorist now, and that means we can imprison you.
Yep.
Yes, they do.
Whoever it is, this 28-year-old white man, he's actually being held anywhere up to 14 days now, isn't he, under terrorism?
Yeah.
So, you know, we'll see what happens there, but we'll probably find out, it wasn't him. So, how you doing, Paul?
I mean, if this is just a bloke who is being used as a patsy, he is a loner who is a recluse, then I don't think 14 days in police custody is going to do his mental health very good.
No, definitely not.
health problems already.
Yeah, it's just shocking.
If we're to believe what we're told. This is the precise problem, is that it's getting increasingly difficult for us to accept what we see and what we're told, because there are so many different things, so many different messages that are going around. And this is precisely what the Soviet Union would have done. This is what their misinformation campaigns were like. They wouldn't just create a false story and expect everyone to believe it. They put out lots and lots of different to do the false story, so you just didn't know what was true and what wasn't.
Yeah. Aidan does. I did comment on the picture. I forgot to say hello. How rude of me. Hope you're well, sir. Living the dream on the island. But yeah, that whiz is cool. My first comment was, "Oh look, is that supposed to be me?"
Very good.
I like it. Yeah, everyone start having all wizards as their pictures now. That'd be funny. So, oh my god, I've been attacked by an ASP iron bar across the back of my head. It rendered me unconscious, and I wasn't aware of the physical assault thereafter. Hopefully, the first blow knocked her out. Yeah, I suppose.
That's the only thing.
Good.
Just hope it was quick.
Yep. Wizard! Oh, he's got a wand emoji. So here's MO. Strange things will come out.
The other thing that is strange is why pick her? And it's not as if she's a frontline politician anymore. She's got a fairly minor role in the Reform Party. She doesn't say anything that's particularly controversial. It's all, like I say, very traditional conservative values. So it's surprising that it would be her more than it would be somebody else. But like I say, I'm speculate on why, because we just don't know. In fact, Uncle Bob's.
Yeah, I was going to say, literally today, killed her because he wanted to do it. That's probably.
Yeah. But like I said, I'm not ruling out the shenanigans, because I'm sure most of you can recall the narrative around Dr. David Kelly and weapons of mass destruction, and how he apparently killed himself with a blunt knife.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember there being a story. I don't know if it's a man or a woman, but they had 19 stab wounds and they put it down as suicide.
Yeah, there was one that was. Yeah, there was someone that I can't think who that was now. But yeah, there was. There's things like Jill Dando. I mean, that is the story is that she was about to release some information. I mean, I remember at the time that the story was that she had information on some. I don't know if they were Albanian or Serbian, somewhere in that part of the world, information on some of the warlords from there, but other people have related it to Savile and celebrity nonsense, so who knows. But that Jill Dando is an assassination. That is exactly what say an assassination looks like. It isn't, unless, like I say, that she was killed beforehand and they did it post-mortem.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense to people get assassinated by getting shot, getting injections, thrown out of windows, and it being labelled as a suicide, that sort of thing.
Yep.
Jill Dando, yes, professional, certainly. In fact, I'm sure I read somewhere that there is something to do with the bullet. The type of gun that was used was a particularly rare one or something. It only could fire one shot or something like that. And they had to be up close for it to be effective.
Well, there we go. And that's the. Yeah, I was going to say that sort of bodes in with being an assassin to use like a rare weapon that you have to use in a certain way because it won't be on the database. Oh yeah, it's a 9mm. Oh, it's a Beretta. Oh, it's a Glock. Do you know what I mean? They're like, no, this is something from like, I don't know, come off the Mary Rose.
Yeah. I mean, I can't even remember where I read that, but yeah, it was definitely something about the gun. I mean, I don't know who did it. Nobody knows who did it, but that was obviously a professional hit job, and it was really, again, it was shocking at the time because she was the face of BBC, really, wasn't she? Doing Crime Watch, she did the news, did the holiday programs, and books.
Exactly, but that's sort of like with what Nelly says here. I think the last time I decided to look, read, or try and work out what was going on with Jill Dando, it was going more towards like the PDF side of things that's going on with, you know, like Jimmy Savile and whatnot. And she got too close to and knew about certain stuff because when she worked with Crime Watch UK. And I reckon there was something there, possibly even, you know, you could say, well, did the BBC sort of take action to save their arse or what? I don't know. But it seemed whatever narrative we were being told, I don't know, it was going over my head a bit like, no, that's a bit far-fetched. But she, like I say, she was on Crime Watch UK. She could have been looking into God knows what. But I reckon it was more to do with possibly like the PDF, and it could even involve Labour or something that where they're like, do you know what? We will never be able to silence this, so let's silence her.
There's all kinds of stories that have gone around about it. I mean, another one that is around the same time that had question marks about it is the Dunblane massacre. I mean, there's obviously no doubt about what happened there, but there are files that have alleged that there were actually two people that were there shooting, and that one of them, the one who got away, was a professional. That this Thomas Hamilton was a patsy for that. Now, again, I don't know if it's true. All I do know is that it was somebody from the family who had been from one of the families, had been investigating it. So a few years ago, they had a whole website with all the documents on there, and some of the files from that were closed for, it was over 50 years. So there's something strange about that case, and of course that was then used to prevent everyone from having handguns. Because prior to that, we had the Hungerford incident, which I found really shocking. I was only 10 at the time, and I was really shocked by that someone in a small town could just go around slaughtering with machine guns.
Yeah, it's mental.
You know, the worst thing about that is that they never found out why he did it. But they had him in the school just before he killed himself, and they were talking to him, and the only thing that he said why he did it is he said, "I wish I hadn't got out of bed this morning."
What, depressed?
Yeah, the story tends to be that first victim, it was an attempted, you can imagine, on a woman in a wood, and it didn't go to plan, so he shot her and then went nuts and went and shot everyone. Horrible, horrible case. But that's why we were allowed to have rifles or machine guns. That came directly because of that. I think it was 87. And then the Jill Dando Dunblane was then gun, which I think was 96 or 97, one of those. But you can have a shotgun. Well, I can probably get a shotgun because of where I live. I could say I could use it to control vermin. If you're in a town, I don't know if that would be quite so easy, but that's about the only firearm we're allowed to use these days, apart from crossbows, things like that.
That's a bit weird. Strange, isn't it? Make up some excuse, get the gun, that's it. That's horrible. But
yeah, I mean, that's a whole conversation in itself. Should we not be allowed to have guns?
Yep, definitely. Oh, speaking of thingies, I've decided on Sunday where the discussion for the call-in is: should politics and religion be banned from sport. I threw religion in as well because, I thought that would be, that could be a yes and a no, depending, and actual politics being banned in sport, like because of what Falklands and the flag and Argentina and that. I thought it's definitely worth talking about Sunday. So everybody, Sunday, call in discussion.
I think that's a really good one, and obviously there's a lot to say about Islam and politics as well.
Yeah,
get it out, send it back to the sands from whence it came.
Yes, I wish time travel was real, because then we could take it back to 700 AD and leave it there.
Leave it there, or assassinate Muhammad.
Definitely.
Oh, if you could do that, go back in time and you could fire a sniper rifle at him.
Yeah,
I'd definitely do it. Hello, Carol Georgina.
But what if we went back to Mecca, or Medina actually, to start with, wasn't it? Was it Medina then Mecca we went to? Yeah, I think it was. What if you went back and then found out, like, Jay Smith was right? The evidence he had, which proved that Muhammad didn't even exist.
Well, that could well be true. I don't know enough about it to comment, so I don't know, but I have heard that is the story. I wouldn't be at all surprised, but it fits in with myth making and cultural narratives, which obviously is my area.
I think the thing that gets me, right, is that it's a so-called religion, like more holier than thou, and at no point from 700 AD upwards, even till this day, but obviously it'd be obvious now because we'd know, but let's say from 700 AD up to, I don't know, 1000 AD, shall we say, for argument's sake, not one person thought to themselves, Sahir al-Bukhari 5133, Aisha said she was 6, consummated the mission, right, 9, right, yeah, we'll get rid of that. We'll hide that. That never existed. Not one person thought of that. Not one. And it's still here today for us to argue over. And for Muslims to defend, obviously.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
They're revolting people. The more experience of them I have, the less I like them. And I don't have any liking for them at all.
Even the goat thought, I'm going to eat these pages. Oh, not that one though. Oh, I'm not eating a page with PDF on it. That'd leave a bad sour taste in my mouth.
Mind you, the goat probably had been bummed all afternoon by Mo and his mates.
Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah, you're probably right there. Maybe that's why he ate some of the book, because he's like, I didn't like it, all three of you, just one at a time. But no, all three of you.
I think that's what it was. He didn't want to be like a goat centipede.
Yeah, he's like, I feel used. Do you know what? I'm going to start eating all what you've
written.
Eat
your book now. You won't be buying me again, Mohammed.
Exactly. And we know that Muhammad didn't write it because he can't read or write.
Exactly. But to completely change the subject, because I don't want to dirty my mouth talking about Islam this evening. Last week, there was an experience that I had. Don't worry, it's nothing paranormal or anything like that. But
you met Muhammad?
No, if I'd have rammed him, I'd have tell you. No, I was talking to my uncle last week, and he's been doing the family tree of our family, and it was really interesting because he's got it now dated back to the earliest common ancestor on my mother's side of the family to 1750, all of which have lived along the east coast from not quite up into North Norfolk, but around the border areas of Norfolk and Suffolk, which of course is where I live. And not long after that, I went into the town nearby, which is called Woodbridge, which is next to Rendlesham Forest, of course. I'm sure many of you are aware of that. I'd never been there before. Beautiful town, lovely, very English, hardly any foreigners at all, perhaps one or two. And afterwards, went to get a coffee, sitting by the nice river and the marina there. And there is a shipbuilder's there, where they're building a full-size replica of the ship that was dug up at Sutton Hoo, which is just a couple of miles from where it is, the big Anglo-Saxon ship. And just being in that environment and thinking, my family have been here for hundreds of years on this land. This is my land. I'm proud of where I live and the traditions and the cultures and the people that are here. And I'm not going to let people take it away from me and my cultural inheritance. It's not a racial issue, but it's an issue of ancestry and ethnicity. And my family have been here, like I say, for centuries in this particular area. I want that to continue. I do not want this area and my culture to be taken over by people that are of a different culture who will not respect things like the fact that we have Anglo-Saxon burial mounds here, that we have churches that go back to the Saxons, never mind the Normans. This is a part of England that is the original England, where the original Angles lived. And yet, fortunately, most of the country doesn't know anything about it. So luckily, we don't get so many foreigners come here because we're far away. But when I look around at the towns around here that I see and how beautiful they look, and then I come onto YouTube and I see Birmingham, I see Manchester, and I see London, it just fills me with horror.
Yeah, we've got to look after your heritage, mate. That's why wars break out. Defend it till your last breath.
Yeah, that's exactly right. What right do these people have coming into this country and getting benefits and things like that? I can get benefits because I paid into that system for years. My family have lived in this island for hundreds of years, so I'm perfectly entitled to get it. Someone who's just come over on a banana boat isn't.
Yep. I don't think you're really going to do much if a war did break out. And you're like, I am defending my family tree, my heritage. This is mine. Just hold that thought, mate. I'm just going to go and have a kip.
Yeah.
That'd be you.
It would be, but no, it was a really nice day because I had my uncle and also my ma as well. They were showing me around in Woodbridge all the places that they used to go to when they grew up, where they had their first job, and that's where I got my first car from. And just driving back, we had a car accident here. Do you remember? It just the whole of that area is just somewhere that has a lot of importance for me because it's where I spent a lot of time growing up out in that area around Woodbridge and Rendlesham, and there's just so much history there, not just for myself, but in terms of the whole country. And it infuriates me to see people claiming to be English. Like I saw last night a clip of, I think it was in Leicester Square, of England fans fighting. None of them looked English to me. Not one white mix was there. And now you don't have to be white, but traditionally the English ethnicity has been white. And that's just how it is.
That's good to know that. I'd love to know that, but I'd have to obviously go with my name. I'd have to go to my birth name, not my adoptive name, because that's obviously irrelevant. It's just a name I was given, so makes things complicated. But I wonder if it'd be worth looking up. But some of that stuff, like I've looked at what's that one, Ancestry and that, but they try and charge you left, right, and centre for everything. So yeah, I didn't bother.
And that came back, it was 93 or 94% English, which didn't surprise me at all. I was quite glad about that. But the actual family tree, he's been years doing that, years and years. Whenever he's got some spare time, he does it, looks into it, and it is really, really interesting. I was really astonished, for example, that our family had quite a big and lucrative business in the port of Southwold, which is now basically a London enclave where all the fancy do-gooder woke people from London have their weekend homes, and they've turned it into Notting Hill. But I'd rather have that than I would those foreigners coming.
Yeah, I've been ignoring, like I think I said before, like I was going to like raid my YouTube account and think, do you know what? I'm going to do a DNA test and see what that comes back as, and do a show about that. That'd be quite interesting.
It would be interesting. I mean, I was interested in the remainder of the DNA because it was something like 4 or 5% Iberian, and then it was a tiny little amount of Italian.
Well,
so there's
how
obviously
cool's that, though?
some Johnny foreigner in the background somewhere.
Yeah,
But the
that's
Italian,
cool.
it could even be Roman.
Yeah,
But
couldn't it?
I
Yeah.
told you the most important bit yet, though. This is what my uncle is currently working on. That he's working on an ancestor from the early 1700s, whose name was Bullen. But at that time, spelling wasn't regulated. So you had lots and lots of different spellings of Bullen, one of which was Bolin. And living in the Norfolk area, where my family did come from, and where the Bullens came from, is where Anne Boleyn came from. And he's looking to see if there's any link to Anne Boleyn. Imagine that.
That'd be cool. Bloody hell.
Wouldn't it? But
Oh,
it's
no,
all
that'd be, yeah, I know, but the fact that it's a possibility, you think, oh, that's good. Even if it finds out not to be true, you'll be like, oh, there was a time we fought. Do you know what I mean? So it's still part of the conversation.
I just think it's amazing that he's got the family tree going that far back, and he's also got photographs that go back to the late 19th century, and they're great. There's loads of great pictures of my grandma during the war playing tennis with a fag on the go and things like that. The funniest one, Grandad was in the RAF and he was stationed in the war in Barbados. What a great war he had. Just pictures of him on the beach smoking and drinking. But there's a bit in there though on the photographs. There was a picture of this sort of shack with a couple of black lads in it, and then on the back it had written "Typical Wog Shack, very dirty and smelly."
No way.
That is a sign of the times, isn't it?
Bloody hell, it is and all. Blimey.
But he's also got, I think, there was part of our family lived in London in the Wembley area, and there's a pie and mash shop, and there's a great picture of the pie and mash shop with whatever ancestor it is of mine stood outside very proudly. It's really wonderful to see, and trace your own history in that way, and to feel part of it. And that's why I am really proud of where I come from.
Yeah, it just proves that you're more than what you are. Do you know what I mean? You are the history. You are the culture.
Yeah, and all of us are. All of us have that history. It's just not all of us have had the fortune of being able to. No, I don't have hairy feet. Thank you. I'm not a hobbit. But no, it was. Yeah, it's just. I just found it really quite fascinating.
Yeah,
because it does make you feel a part of something. And I don't have children, but it makes me want to make sure that my niece and nephew know everything about the area. And I think it's important for everyone to find out not just about their own family, but where you live. What are the traditions in the area that you live in? Are there any folk stories that are doing the rounds there, like my town's famous black dog story?
Yeah.
I think it's a really important thing to do, to learn your culture. Now, the black dog story is an interesting one because it was written. Don't worry, Ellie, I'm coming to you. Because the black dog, it was in the 1500s. There was a big thunderstorm in my town. Lightning struck the church, and then a vicious black hellhound ran and killed 2 people, then disappeared and turned up at another church where it ran up the spire and disappeared into the heavens. Now, it's obviously total bollocks, but the idea of black hellhounds roaming around the water meadows and fenlands goes back to a thing called black shuck, which is an old Anglo-Saxon term, because it's an old Anglo-Saxon tradition that obviously had been sort of superimposed onto my town hundreds of years later, and yet it's still being told today. So that's how far the story goes back.
Cool. I decided to do a quick poll there. Just type 1 or 2. It's that simple, really. Should I do a DNA test and reveal all live? That means like I'll do the test, but when it comes back, I'm not going to do nothing with it. I'll do it live. I'll be gutted. You wait.
What?
I'll be like, no. How you doing, Carol and Binky?
80% African.
Yeah, that'd be hilarious. It'd be just nice to know, though, wouldn't it? It's like weird, but I think they're like 70, 80 quid, aren't they?
Yeah, it was quite expensive.
Oh, I'll have to get loads of super chats then.
We've got a request in the chat. It's an unusual one, but we've got Nelly has asked if she can come on stage this evening. I don't know why. I have spoken to Nelly a few times though. She's a very lovely lady. But I don't know what she wants to talk about.
Oh, what was I going to say? What's today? It's not Tuesday, is it? Why am I?
No, I thought it was Wednesday, but it's apparently Thursday.
Oh, it's Thursday. Well, tomorrow we're doing the other one, aren't we? That should have been Tuesday.
Yeah, the short one.
Yeah, with this one, it's like they're going to have a 5-minute opening statement each, which, you know, so we can get a gist of it, and then they're going to do whatever. We're 42 minutes in, aren't we? So we need to crack on, really. You know, we're getting sidetracked again. Uh-oh. The haters are going to hate. But, Nelly, if you want to come up tomorrow at 7 o'clock, we're doing that. I'll open it up. Anyone wants to come up tomorrow at 7 o'clock and comment on the video that we're going to be watching, which is I can't remember. What was it? Oh, poo.
Reparations and slavery, I think.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, because he puts someone in his place or something. But yeah, if you want to come up, anyone tomorrow, let me know. What I'll do is obviously we'll start tomorrow at 7 o'clock with Jake and I. Then we'll put the link in the chat, and whoever wants to come up can come up, and then we'll actually play the video. And then when Jake or I or you say stop, then we discuss whatever is brought up, and we'll do it like that. So that'd be a good option, because that's what I was looking at on Tuesdays. A Tuesday, you choose whatever. So you'll be like, oh, there's this video, or there's this in the news, and then we make up a Tuesday as we go. So I think that'd just be so cool, because anything could happen, basically. So it's going to be a nightmare to do a thumbnail for, but nonetheless.
I'll find a video as a backup just in case. Always best to be prepared.
Yep, I'll be looking and see, make sure if anyone says anything. Because, like I say, it can literally be anything. You could have a 10, 15-minute video. It might be a new story. It might be something you've seen on X. Whatever it might be. Literally, it's a Tuesday, so I'm going to ask in there. We'll see what's there. I'll read a few out. We'll see how people respond, and then we'll pick one, and then we'll just do it and literally make it up there and then. Sundays you can call in, and I'm hoping every Sunday to have a certain question, because obviously Jake said before, didn't you? Like, actually have a certain question about a certain subject and keep it a bit more controlled. So that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, I think that's how, when people have call-ins, I think it's a big mistake to just leave it completely open, because anyone will turn up and people will say anything. Bit like when if I said to the kids, okay, write a story, you're just going to get a load of shit and a load of kids sat around going, I don't know what to write. Whereas if you say, I want you to write me a ghost story, then it's completely different. Same thing with a conversation. I think it's always important to have some form of prompt. It doesn't have to be specific, but This one, I can't even remember why I picked this one. This was ages ago. But
I know, it's been 2 weeks.
what I think is the reason I picked it is because unlike the ones we usually look at that are informal debates, this is a formal debate. So the parameters are very different from things like when we watch Young Bob or Edge of the Matrix or whoever. So this is actually a very formal, structured debate. And what you would normally expect to find in a structured debate is you have both sides will give their opening, which I think it's 5 minutes on this one.
Yep.
So one, then you get the other. Then you normally have you have a couple of minutes where one gets to ask the other one questions, and then you swap over and you ask the other one questions, and you go back and forth. And then at the end, you normally have 5 minutes to summarize what your argument is. Now, unlike people talking in the street, objective here is very different, because if you're just having a discussion, you're not in competition. Here you are in competition, because the aim is to persuade the audience, because they ultimately will vote who is correct, whose view is more persuasive than the other ones. So let me just rephrase that. It's not who is correct, but just who is more persuasive than the other one.
Right. Yeah, so World War debate. What a name that is.
And the biggest difference between this and a street debate is the 5 minute opening, because that's your chance to demonstrate that you have done your research, that you know what you're talking about, and for you to use a range of rhetorical devices to persuade your audience. And there can be any number of things, like you could use inclusive pronouns like we. So if you say we all believe that, then you include everybody. It's much more persuasive than just saying I believe. So it'll be things like that, or it'll be emotive language, or any number of different techniques that we'll try and have a listen to, see of them. The more persuasive you are, the stronger your chance of winning. Now, the best way to do that is by having done your research. Then that has done everything for you. You just let that be your persuasive device.
Yep. Makes sense. Right, yeah, Rob T, how you doing? Rob T again.
Absolutely, Slim. You're quite right. Yes, ask questions to avoid answering it. Absolutely.
Oh, way to go, Slim. Try and ruin the moment. Are they a sales gimmick? Like surely they can't be, because it'd be illegal to take money to do a DNA test and not do it and just send some shit back. That'd be illegal, wouldn't it?
Yeah, people will do it though.
I'll have to make sure I find a reputable one then, if there is such a thing.
To be honest, it was ages ago. It's probably nothing fancy, DNA.com or shit like that. But as far as I can recall, it was about 80 or 90 quid.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good, and it's good for a video, and people want to, accidentally sort of donate £1,000 during the live. That'd be worth doing, wouldn't it?
Well, I've been having a bit of a ding-dong chat this week with an idiot on there who every single day puts the same comment, that white is a social construct. And I keep saying, no, it isn't. And their argument, this is their whole argument that they repeat endlessly, which is, show me a gene that differentiates between black and white. But that isn't how genetics works. Genetics and race isn't one gene, it's a pattern of a variety of different genes. Because what the DNA actually shows isn't that you belong to a particular race as such, it's that you are from a specific region. And that specific region will have in it things like your amount of melanin, which will determine what your skin color is. So it's absolutely ridiculous to say that there's a black or a white gene. That is an absolute classic straw man technique. And it's a completely disingenuous argument. And I just find it funny that this bloke can only put one sentence and can't say anything else. And my favourite moment, the triggered Christian was witness to this, was he said that it is a social construct and I can't prove otherwise. And I put in the chat 8 different studies that proved otherwise. Still won't accept that that's that it's just an argument. So it was very amusing for me to put on there that I was winning 8-0.
8-0.
But seriously,
Bobby's in. Hey, don't Bobby.
Bobby, hello. One of only 2 Muslims I actually will speak to. The other being Shoab. Do you know Shoab? He's a great guy. I know some in the chat know Shoab.
Yeah, I will look into it before I do anything with DNA test. I'm not one to. I don't just go, "All right, yeah, that'll do."
Yeah.
I'll be asking about and whatnot, and we'll have to investigate because.
Yeah.
Thing is, though,
I knew people who Shoab. That good. I'm glad people know who he is. He's a good man, despite being a Muslim.
Yeah. What was I going to say? Oh, I was on.
Sorry, I interrupted your thought.
My train of thought. My train has left the station. No, I was going to say. Firstly, everyone, look, planet, alien, and a speech bubble that says hello. They're so bright, ruined. That's a waste of money. I've been waiting for that. But what I was going to say is, what do they do with your DNA once they've got it, though? That's what I want to know, because I'll be like, hang on, mate.
Well, they've already got most of our information stored digitally anyway, so does it really make any difference? They're going to get what they want from one way or the other.
They could put my DNA on a crime scene or something.
That's the worrying thing, isn't it? When, like, going back to what I said right at the beginning about people don't know what they can trust anymore, then that's very likely that somebody could do that. Particularly with AI video, you could say, no, look, video, you can see them on the CCTV, there they are. Here's a bit of DNA that we've planted as well. You make it look like it's done that they haven't done, and they were nowhere near at that time.
Like they drink it, they use it for cloning. You don't want another one of me, mate. Oh, that'd be hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know. And I also, going back to the debate here, I don't know much about the speakers either. All I know is that Anna Kasparian, or whatever her name is, I've seen her on Piers Morgan once, and she was really gobby. And the other one, Pearl, I think she was known for 5 minutes for something. I don't know what it was. That's about it.
Yeah, basically. But yes, right. Let me stop the poll. But only 4 people.
What?
Terrible.
Right,
one thing
is you can tell just from looking at this that this is a professional, meaningful debate. You know, the World War debate. You've got all the flames behind them.
Yep.
And I have to say, Anna Kay has turned up looking the business there. She looked like someone who's going out there to win a debate. The way she stood there is very confident. Pearl, on the other hand, looks a bit goofy, hand on her hip, grinning. That, to me,
she looks like she's just come home from Sunday school. Look at the school skirt.
Yeah. Now, you shouldn't ever judge on appearances. I know.
So I have seen a few times she talks absolute out of her backside.
Well,
so
if that is the case, like I said, we have to remember here, she had time to prepare for this. So even if she normally talked out of her backside, you would expect in this situation that she wouldn't do that. Now, whether that's the case, I don't know. There's only one way to find out.
Right. Let's investigate then, ladies and gents. So, how far are we in? All 54 minutes? Blimey heck. We talk about everything but. Oh, well, we'll do this for half an hour anyway, won't we?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Why not? Oh, Grace is off.
Bye, Grace. Come back.
Oh, I thought she meant she'd gone off. Like milk. She says, okay, I'm off. I'm like, oh dear. Put yourself in the fridge, love. You obviously don't like Anna Kasparian or Pearl Davis, but you know, we waited 2 weeks for this, so we've got to do it.
It's not about them, though.
Oh, it's been that long. I bet I'll press play and you'll be like, I can't hear it, and I'll have to take it down, reload it. I'll be like, oh my, it's been ready for the last hour. But right, let me know. Make sure you can hear it, guys. Right, the volume bit's up there. Yes, right. Can you hear it?
No, can't hear anything.
What?
No.
What about now? No? Right, get rid, reload, share screen. On that, volume on, share.
God.
Add to stage. Let you go back 5 seconds.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen,
Game on!
This debate, our main card, has a little bit of a different format than what we did previously. We're going to have the opening statements for both of you. Those will be 5 minutes apiece. Then you'll each get 10 minutes to kind of do an interrogatory of the other. That will go back and forth. And then after that, we'll go into open debate. Anna, take it away. We got 5 minutes.
Before we start there,
2024 appearance on Tim Pool's Culture.
Just clarify there what sort of skills you would need to win this debate. Because I mentioned earlier, you've got 5 minutes to prepare. You've got 5 minutes to state your opening statement that you should have prepared for. But you've also got 10 minutes where you're going to have to question the other person. So that means here, unlike in a street debate, you should have with you a pen, or you should have a very sharp mind so that you can remember what the other person said, so you can then pull up on it in the next round. So
yeah,
that I think is a really, really important skill that people often sort of underestimate.
Yeah, I've seen a few debates where people end up like just talking about stuff that's just irrelevant to what the other person said. You're like, where are you going with this? It's like weird, but just so you do know, guys, it does say there the topic. It says, has modern feminism empowered women or lead them into cultural, relational decline? So yeah, I hope the way I said it made it sound really interesting.
It did. It was almost like the way they introduced boxers when they come out.
Yeah. Anyway, right. Was that? And it is easily wound up. I would use that to my benefit. Yeah, exactly. You got to know your opponents, Lim.
Now, what I'm not going to do
2020
is talk over their speeches. So I think it's important to listen to what they actually say for once.
Yes, let's. People have waited 58 minutes, 28 seconds for this, so let's do this. Evening, Drew. Good timing, mate. You're here an hour late, but we've only literally just started, so perfect timing.
Before appearance on Tim Pool's Culture War podcast, my opponent, Pearl Davis, declared that women aren't really doing much. We're not having kids. We're not really contributing to the economy when you look at output. In fact, she uses this ridiculous assertion to argue that women should not have the right to vote. While it's true the birth rate has declined, and we'll revisit that in a bit, women account for 47% of the American workforce. The Council of Economic Advisors found that women have contributed a substantial portion of the U.S. economic growth since 1970, which wouldn't have been made possible without the feminist movement. By 2017, women were responsible for nearly 40% of total gross domestic product, amounting to a whopping $7.6 trillion. Of course, that figure doesn't include the trillions of dollars in unpaid labor women do every year, tending to the household, raising children, and caring for ailing parents. And when it comes to certain sectors of our economy, women are a dominant and indispensable force. Like in the healthcare industry, where they make up nearly 80% of workers, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. That's 16.4 million women. When it comes to education, in 1960, women earned less than 35% of all bachelor's degrees. Today, they earn roughly 58% of all bachelor's degrees, which Pearl herself benefited from after graduating from Elmhurst University. Women also earn over 60% of master's degrees. I hope to hear Pearl explain how a more educated and skilled population somehow translates to cultural decline, especially as we compete with China in this increasingly multipolar world. The modern feminist movement also had a major impact on decreasing domestic violence, and that's according to the U.S. Department of Justice. Rates of intimate partner violence decreased by more than 60% from 1994 to 2010. And that's thanks to protective order statutes and funding for shelters beginning in the 1970s and 80s. Not only did the two-income household become more financially resilient, especially during economic downturns, women gained the ability to leave abusive relationships, an outcome correlated with improved child health and educational attainment. A culture that protects people from violence is not one that's indicative of cultural decline. Pearl herself has benefited greatly from the feminist movement, thanks to Title IX in 1972, signed by Nixon, of course. Sex-based discrimination in any school program or activity that receives federal funding is prohibited. Pearl herself had a rather impressive record playing for Elmhurst University's volleyball team, having earned all conference honors as a senior. She later pursued professional volleyball in London. She could have stayed in the United States and served in her role as a traditional woman, but she didn't. And she could have been the traditional chaste woman living out her dream of everything women were supposed to do before feminism. But she is neither traditional nor chaste by her own admission. While feminists would have no problem with her personal choices, she has made a career bashing women for theirs. Critics often argue that modern feminism has weakened families and resulted in a lower birth rate. They tend to dismiss empirical evidence demonstrating the insidious impact of the internet, social media on modern relationships. They also brush economic instability under the rug, despite young people citing their personal finances as the main reason why they're holding off on marriage in the first place. In lieu of discussing those factors, Pearl spends much of her time discouraging men from getting married in the first place. During her debate with Trent Horn, she declared that men are better off shacking up without ever getting married. Her reasoning? Women are too fat and STD infected. You did say that. She didn't stop to think about how they contracted the STDs in the first place. Data from the National Library of Medicine show that modern men are just as promiscuous as modern women.
Time.
Men and women are in bad shape, and in the United States,
Shut up.
we can discuss why, but feminism is not the reason.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay.
Nice job.
So there's Anna's argument. I think it essentially comes to three elements. 1, economics. 2, education. 3, attacking Pearl. They were the main things there.
Yep.
She was very, very confident. She had some statistics to back up what point she was making. I don't know what the point was because I lose track of things when people talk in numbers and I tend to nod off a bit. but she had some research in. She seemed like she'd done her job. She spoke professionally, I think, on the whole. She used paralinguistic features, which is like she would use different tones of voice, like she would raise it or lower it. She would use hand gestures where necessary, like this, like a politician does, to emphasize their point. So I think that was a fairly decent argument. But I think for me, if I were assessing it, as I used to do, she would have lost marks there for the ad hominem attacks. She didn't need to just be belittling in her opening statement. That can come later on. But on the whole, I thought she was quite good. How about you?
Yeah, I thought it was all cushed up. I'm admiring his microphone stand, thinking, oh, it's like mine. That's how much I was interested in what she was saying. I find it hard, like you, that's 16.4 million women. Like, does it matter? Like, you just say your points. Do you know what I mean? Where your argument's coming from. I know, like you say there, you probably need certain things to back stuff up, but your whole argument shouldn't be around figures, because you will lose people, and everyone knows that's not in your head. You are literally reading it, and that's not how you debate in my book. And when she starts attacking her to a degree, maybe a bit later, you could say, oh, but you're saying blah, 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 but you went to London and played volleyball. So you're literally everything your own argument is not. So she could have used it later. But to open on, it's a bit like, because she stars with that, what's his name, that Senk Yuga, whatever his name is, from that Turkish thing. It's just bad. Attack the person. No, you are here to, in theory, attack the debate. It's about whatever this debate is about. It's not about the person. But later in an argument, if that person has done something that's sort of detrimental to what they're actually saying, then yes, you can call that out, because then the people react to that and think, hang on, you're literally arguing for that, but you done that. So there is a benefit to it, but that should be later in the argument or in the debate.
I think so, yes. Because what she's really saying to Anna is, you're a hypocrite. You say you're a trad wife or whatever they call it, but actually, look, you've actually benefited from all of this stuff. That is a fair point, but I would have brought it in later and saved that weapon. I would have gone in with I like using statistics in things like this, because, as we've both said, it sends people to sleep. You could say any number, you could just make it up. It's not any different to the people listening. They're not going to know any different unless they've read that statistic. But also, statistics are very easily manipulated. As we see with the classic leftist argument, that there are far more white grooming gangs than there are Asians. Yes, because there are far more white people. You can say, as I've said on here before, if you want to play that game, then we'll say that white people are the ones racially discriminated against then. Because there are far more white people and there are far more accusations made against them than are made by them.
Yep. I always like to say, like, in a debate, like in theory, in a debate, there is never actually a winning argument. That's why it's called a debate. It's just what people side with or agree with more. But there's always those who disagree. So there is no right or wrong. It's just, what side of this debate are you on? Does that make sense?
Absolutely, it makes sense, yes. The point in a debate like this one is to persuade the audience. So either argument could be correct. I mean, they're both correct in that regard. It's just which one does the audience feel more persuaded by on this occasion.
Yep. It's like, it's like, I've seen Douglas Murray on the Monk debates. Is it? He absolutely destroys the people. I think he's might be with Stephen Fry or someone on that one. I'm not too sure, but literally they vote at the end and it like destroys them. But even if if you win a debate and it's 51% to 49%, do you really win? It's that close. Do you know what I mean? You'll say, well, no, I didn't win. My argument was better.
Yeah. I used to do with the kids, because it was year 8 I used to teach this to, so they would be 12 or 13, so they're very young, but they're all quite excitable. So I would do something like, I would just point at someone and say, stand up. Right, I want you to spend the next minute, I want you to tell me what's the best flavour crisp and why. Or something ridiculous like that, just so that they'd get used to talking. It didn't matter what it was. Then you'd build the skills into it. So then, you know, the next time, they might want to try and use some language that makes me feel that that flavour is better. That's just one example. It could be anything. But a lot of it does come down to training and the culture of the school that you are in. Now, one of the things that I taught, this was a great privilege, was the International Baccalaureate, which is like A-levels, but it's the one they use at international schools. And it's slightly higher than A-level, actually. It's much more difficult, I think, and do more subjects. But in English, one of the things you have to do is you have to learn, it was The Great Gatsby for the class I had. They had to learn this book inside out. And on the day, they go to their exam, they had 1 hour to prepare a 20-minute talk about one of 6 different passages that could have come from that book. You have 6 different bits of the book, and only one of them would come up on the day. And then they'd have an hour to do a 20-minute talk about that passage of the book and how it related to the book as a whole. That's fucking hard.
Yeah, I bet it is. Not that.
They had, well, the people who were doing that, you know, they were the Oxford, Cambridge people, the ones applying there, you know, they were super bright. That was a really difficult exam, though. But what I'm getting at is they're practicing all the time. They didn't just do it as a one-off. They've got weeks and weeks, months, in fact, to prepare for it. So when it came to it, they knew what they were going to do. And I would say that they've done that sort of training would be far more comfortable in an environment like this than someone that hasn't had that training.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, because when I watch debates, in my head, I'm like, there's confidence, but there's confidence in you as a person. You need to be personally confident, but you need to be confident in what you're saying. You need to know about what you're debating, because people will pick up straight away if you're not confident, and confidence can win votes. Because if you're just there saying, like, you know, as a person, God, he's confident, oh, he believes in what he's saying. Like when I was in sales, that would get the sale, because people will literally buy from you or vote for you, should we say. So, you know, it's like saying, yeah, oh, I'm confident, but are you confident as a person, but not confident in what you're arguing about? Because that will actually blow up in your face.
Yes, exactly. And the same principle applies in a classroom. If you walk in there and you're lacking in confidence, kids know it, they're not going to perform as well, and they're going to fuck about because they think you're weak. So you have to go in there. This is my classroom. I'm in charge here. What I say goes, and I know everything. And of course, the fact is you don't. You probably going in there with a hangover, unprepared for the day. But as far as those kids know, you know exactly what you're doing.
Yep. I think also you need to believe what you're saying, because if you believe in what you're saying, the passion's there, people will see that as confidence. So belief and confidence, I think, are probably very, very important.
I think there was a really good example of this yesterday, actually. If you watched the national anthems last night and you look at the way Argentina approached it compared with England, there was a confidence, there was a passion. All of doing it for their country, you knew that they were going to just give everything because of the way they delivered that national anthem. Our lot didn't. I'm not saying that the way you sing the national anthem means you're going to win a game, but I mean that confidence and that self-belief was clear from the very start, before they hit the ball, that they had that inner belief. And England were not, because they're shitting themselves thinking they're only just, you know, they've got past the semi-finals in '66.
Yeah,
so the confidence
wasn't
before the game, I don't think. But I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, oh, we've got to listen to Pearl now. Her voice can be quite irritating. So, I mean, we're an hour and 15 minutes in, so maybe we're going to have to listen to her 5 minutes, and then just on those opening statements, we can discuss who we feel is the winner.
Yeah.
So we've got to make it up as we go along, mate, isn't it? I can't believe how quick this time's gone. It's literally flown by. I swear we started talking about one thing before we know it, hour and 15 minutes later.
That's how it goes.
The joy of lives. We will have to start being more professional in what we're doing, but for now, maybe next week's I'll do it.
Yeah, maybe next time. Less off today.
Yep.
We've had a break.
Yeah, we come back. We're a bit rusty. We're creaking. My joints are creaking. Your joints are rolling and ready to smoke. So it's all going on. So right. What's her name now, isn't it? Pearl Davis. So yeah, apologies for her voice because it can be quite.
Okay, Pearl, we got 5 minutes. You're going to be on the clock, and let's go.
Most debaters and commentators are elitists who tell average Americans from their ivory towers what to think and how to feel. My answer to this.
I know we're not going to stop it, but I just have to stop to say one thing, right? That's not a bad idea what she's doing there, because Anna Kasparian had hers on the desk, her notes. She's holding them up. I wouldn't do that because I know for a fact, to start with, people will see my nerves. But she hasn't got any. She's holding it up like whatever. So straight away, I would think she's all right. She's confident because she's not shaking. She ain't got those initial nerves where your hand might have that little wobble where, I'm very much like that. Like when I talk to anyone, not a problem. But if I stood up like that, to start with, I would have the initial nerves because you care and you're worried maybe. But she's holding that up like whatever. Like, yeah, I'll read that. Whereas I wouldn't do that. I would have done what Anna done and left it on the table and I'd have my hands behind or something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I have to put on an act. Is I have to have a word with myself. And I just say to myself, I don't give a fuck what anyone thinks. I'm just going to go and do it. Once I get into that frame of mind, it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, once I've been going for what you got 5 minutes. I mean, I could probably go for the first minute and then I'll be like, right, I'm all right now. I could pick it up. Do you know what I mean? But from the get go, she's like, ba-ba-ba-da. So, that in itself.
I would go the opposite, actually, though. I don't think that is a sign of confidence. I would say that it was a sign of weakness because look at the posture that she's got there. Whereas Anna's was on the desk, yes, sometimes held it, but she didn't have it there as a reference. Like here, it's almost like she's got a comfort blanket in her hand, like a lack of confidence.
Yeah,
and when you put up a piece of paper, where does your voice travel towards? Your voice goes into the paper, not out to into the microphone. And the way that she's reading it is, I don't think it's just her voice that's irritating. She just sounds like a 12-year-old.
Yeah, the writing on it looks like a 12-year-old. Can you see it? The little lines of weirdness. I don't know what all that pink stuff is as well. It looks random, but yeah, I can see where you're coming from there. Yeah,
she was making notes. I saw when Anna was talking, but as soon as she picked that up, I just went like that. I just thought, oh Christ, here we go.
Yeah,
but it might get
to me, like you said, she was taking notes, but I'm not being funny here, but that's irrelevant. It doesn't matter though. You do not need those notes. This is a opening statement. You should have that prepared.
The opening statement, you should, yeah. I mean, what I meant is she was taking notes from Anna's statement for the next round, is what I meant. So she was listening.
Why is she holding this up that looks like notes?
So
bullet points.
Is probably something she wrote on the way there. Or 5 minutes before she went on stage, or something like that.
That's disgraceful, mate. Like. That's not what you. Yeah, see, once you look at it more, I can see the writing and all that. But yeah, I think you're probably more on the, going by what we've said and what we can see here, looking into it more. yeah, she might be confident enough to hold it up and not be shaking with nerves, but it's more probably what you say, that like there's a barrier between her and the people or whatever, and it could actually be more along the negative side than positive side.
I would so yes. And what I used to get the girls to do is I would get them to make cue cards. So just get a little card that fits between your hands if they're like this. So if you have your hands in front of you out here like that, you can see the card, but your audience, and you just write on it key words, not the whole sentence, just the key words. Then you've got it in front of you, you can just look down, and that means that then eye contact with your audience, which is a very persuasive thing to do. If you're doing what Pearl is doing, look at where her eyes are.
Yeah, I noticed that about Anna, because where she's more about what was written down than that. I didn't think her eye contact was exactly enticing.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't brilliant. But you're right to pick on these things, and by all means, stop it whenever you feel like it. It's great.
Yeah, I like that last bit. We just got through it all, but sometimes like I find out, if they do something in the first minute, well, 4 minutes later they finished, you forgot. Do you know? I'm very much like that. So it's just the initial holding it up. I thought,
and we were only 12 seconds in to her speech,
and that was my bad. My bad, peeps. My bad.
No, it's good. It's not bad at all. I think it's good.
But we're trying. We're trying to get through the rest like we did with Anna, because like I think it is better like that, because you can take it in, absorb it, and whatnot, and then we can spend time. But what we do, we've heard her. We're going to listen to this, guys. Then we're going to discuss just openly like what we think and who's done whatever, and then that'll be it, because we're an hour and 20 in already, and I don't know where the time went, mate. My bad. But anyway, right, listen to Pearl and her annoying voice.
This question not only comes from covering current events and researching the facts, data, and statistics, but also in my professional experience interviewing over 1,000 people in America and Western nations. Feminism has given women power, and power corrupts. And that's what's happening. Feminism is robbing men of their disposable income and their prime earning years. Feminism has empowered women. It has empowered women to be sexually promiscuous. Feminists say that they fought for women to not subject themselves to the approval of men. Why then are 5 to 10% of women between the ages of 18 to 25?
Yeah, I'll take it back. I went to hit the space bar when she's doing all that. Like, she's definitely nervous.
Yeah.
I know she was holding that thing up, and it wasn't, but she was up, down, left, right, like all caught her throat type weird and all that. She's all over the place, mate. Already, I'm like, if I'm Anna Kasparian, I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna destroy you just for what you're wearing. I'll destroy you. But bloody hell, you're talking shite.
Yeah, exactly. And the biggest difference we can hear in just 1 minute of them talking is what you said: the confidence. Doesn't matter what Anna said; it was the way she delivered it. When you see Pearl here now, it's not in the same league. Like, Pearl can't be asked.
Yeah, it's a bit like, it's a bit of a I can't be bothered, whatever, this isn't important, I don't really care, and no one's going to vote for her, are they? Like you say, Anna was very she came across a bit more authoritative.
Yeah.
Regardless of how it was said or done or whatever, like you'd think, oh, she's very authoritative. She knows what she's talking about. Debating her would have you on your toes. Oh, here comes bloomin' Little Miss Sunday School with that horrible, horrible top. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it's like she could put a white wig on and that and go into court or something. I don't know.
That is, I wouldn't be surprised if she'd gone there feeling confident and then she heard Anna speak and she thought, shit.
Look in the bottom left corner. There's a geezer on the phone.
There is a geezer on the phone. Tell her to shut up.
Can you go and get the police? Because Pearl, what she's doing, mate, is criminal. But yeah, straight away, I'm starting to we actually got through the whole of Anna. We didn't say a word. So
no, you didn't.
As on the whole thing of her, we were obviously both at a certain level of, what should we say, respect, and we listened to what she said, and the way it came across made us want to listen. Whereas this, we stopped it in 10 seconds, but that was because she was holding something up. But after like not even a minute, she's done that, and I had to stop it just to make sure I don't forget and I'll comment on it. So there's the difference.
So you're not impressed with how it started then?
No. If that was me, in my head, I'll be like, I've just screwed this up. I've got to like change like now, because I shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have done that. I've choked on my word. I put my paper down, picked it up. Where, I want my mummy. Do you know what I mean?
You just got to get back up and get on with it.
Exactly. I mean, she needs to now put that down, turn, look straight at the audience, and then just smash it. That's the only way.
Yeah. I mean,
And
I
then
guess
everyone,
you must have had situations as a goalkeeper where you've let in a howler.
Oh, yeah.
And you've got to then get back on into the frame of mind to get on with it and try and put it out of your mind.
Yep.
And that's how I think Pearl is seeing things at this moment. She's just the ball has just slipped across the line, and now she's thinking, I need to sort myself out here. Maybe she can jump around.
Mate, I've jumped for the ball and it's gone straight from my hands because I took my eyes off the ball to look to see where the attacker was, because I wanted to throw it out to him straight away, and it's gone through my hands. And I'm like, oh my God. But I literally just tell myself, like, I'm better than this. Like, that was, and I literally say I took my eye off the ball. I just tell people, I've never bullshitted. I'm like, yeah, that was my fault. I took the eye off the ball. Oh, that was my fault. I come running out way too quick and I smashed into him and gave away a penalty. But one year I did save 8 out of 9 penalties, just saying. But
very nice. Yeah. That's an impressive record.
Yeah, the joy of being Lanka. I wouldn't move until they kicked the ball, mate. That was my trick. I would not move. But yeah, if that was me there, I'd be. You've got to be careful, because if she suddenly thinks, oh, whatever, in her head, and it flashes through like, oh, I'm a bit nervous or whatever, that could then make the rest of this even worse.
Yeah.
So you've got to have a certain mentality, and the fact that she does what she does for a living, there's no excuses for screwing this up.
That is a great point, actually, because I was going to say, yes, but, you know, sometimes people are nervous. We can't hold that against them. But you just hit the nail right on the head. This is what she has chosen to do. She is a YouTube influencer. She should be used to speaking in public because she does it every day and gets paid for it.
Yep. Basically, yep. And obviously doesn't spend the money on anything to do with passion, but nonetheless.
No.
So, just
did you know that? She's not even called Pearl. That isn't even her name.
That doesn't surprise me.
It's Hannah.
I was about to say, I bet it's something boring.
Yeah, there you go.
How weird. Yeah. So she can say her name frontwards or backwards. It's the same.
Yeah, a palindrome, yes.
That doesn't surprise me at all, because she's the sort of person, I think, that, like, she probably only will ever have sex if she wants a baby.
Yeah, maybe.
She's probably got OCD at home. The house has got to be spotless, and I bet she's really strict. And I bet behind the scenes, all like that, she might be a little bit quiet, but when she opens up, I bet she's quite nasty.
Well, we'll just have to wait and see. I'm not going to give anything away. Not that I know, obviously.
There's just something about her, like, I don't know, it's like this. To me, it seems fake, like a facade. Like, you know, that's like me going out in a Vickers thing and everyone's like, oh, he's a humble man. But, you know, I've actually got a gun in my pocket and I'm there to assassinate someone. Do you know what I mean? It's like, what you see is not what you're getting.
No.
There's something about her. It's just,
but
anyway,
we might
right, I'll shut up. Look, 55 seconds. What? It's like you're breaking up, geese.
Yes, she might improve. She's got 4 minutes.
Might. Yeah, she's got 4 minutes, 5 seconds to do so. Here we go, everyone. I just thought, like, my crude brain, I'm like, her first name, she's actually named after a necklace.
Yeah. She chose that name.
Yeah. Hope she doesn't end up with anything on her face. Oh, dear. I need to get out more. Right. Before I make the show. Before I get banned for being rude. Right. Let's try and get through the last 4 minutes of Little Miss Irritating Voice. Here we go.
On OnlyFans or other prostitution websites. There are more online prostitutes in America than female Walmart employees. 1 of 3 women will catch an STD at some point in their lifetime. 90% will catch HPV, which is incurable. Feminism has empowered women to abort 1/8 of the world population and 1/3 of Gen Z. Feminists have been so empowered to commit paternity fraud. Paternity fraud is unpunished in any state in the USA or any country in the West. If done correctly, a man will have to pay for a child he was fooled into believing was his until that child reaches maturity. In some states, that man will also have to pay for that kid's college. That is slavery and is forbidden under the 13th Amendment. 1/3 of paternity tests are negative by the American Association of Blood Banks. Feminism has empowered women to rob men of their time, their resources, their reputation, their children, and in the most extreme cases, their lives. They do this through child support, alimony, false allegations, and paternity fraud. How many people in this arena have a brother, a father, an uncle, or a friend who has gone through this meat grinder? Anna has been on the air for 15 years and is completely oblivious to these issues. It's a silent genocide of the lives of millions of men. Standing on the sidelines of the arena, I have 30.
The reaction of the audience compared to what Anna said, holy crap, mate. Doesn't matter what she's saying, how she's saying it, how she comes across. The men are like, yeah, we are with you. And that's only 2.5 minutes in. Anna didn't get that. How strange is that? That is seriously unexpected. Maybe because she's saying what really hurts men. And I understand what she's saying. Like, you know, someone's saying it's your kid and it's not. And like whatever it is, like paternity tests and this, that, and everyone else. I get that because in America, that is a big thing. Hence Jerry Springer show and God knows what else. But bloody those men were jumping on it. Like, literally go, woo, and all that. That was mental.
Yeah. It is mental.
I'm shocked. So maybe she doesn't need an argument. She needs to stay on that side of the fence and say it the way it is. Holy crap. Because I actually, to a degree, think, yeah, you're probably right with those facts, and it is damaging men.
It is. It also damages women when men don't what they owe. It also damages women enormously when men don't pay what they are supposed to, which is something that I know from personal experience.
Yeah, there's definitely there's always an opposite argument, regardless of who says what. Yeah, I get that. But I mean, the way that people react, I'm actually shocked. I was just going to let it run to the end. I told myself that. But when they were cheering and all that, I was...
You got the trigger finger ready.
Yeah, I think I was a bit like, oh, because I was going to pause it a bit earlier, but it took me time to find my mouse and get it all ready. I was like, what the hell? I was like, oh my God. But I get that. Honestly, I was like, wow, how crazy. But then, is this down to feminism or is it down to certain women who've got attitude problems and think they're all that, think they're entitled and they're just, it's the female in question is like, yeah, I'm going to do him for money. Because some women are like that. And we've seen how the black women react in America. Bloody hell.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think there's an argument here for saying that perhaps she isn't addressing the question or the topic because she's actually talking about the harms that are caused to men. and she's focusing more on men and what they are losing out on, and she's getting the support from the men because of that. But is she actually sticking to the topic? I'm not sure she 100% is, but I don't know. We'll see. She might come back to it.
Is she saying all this, and what she's saying is the argument because feminism hasn't empowered women? Or sorry, has empowered women. That's why they're doing what they're doing and doing all this.
Yes, so that is what she's saying. But what I'm saying is that rather than focusing on the women, she's focusing on the men and the effects on the men, and talking about the men and not talking about the women being empowered. But obviously, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, so she's more talking about, rather than like the women in feminism, she's talking more about like what's happened because of, rather than.
Yes.
Is that what you're getting at? Maybe I'm trying to get.
And she
hasn't. I'm surprised they cheered for her.
Right. She hasn't really said yet why feminism is wrong. Is what I'm saying.
So she's
just saying it harms men.
What's the word I'm looking for? So she's talking about sort of the symptoms of everything that's happening, rather than the actual. Has feminism empowered women? Like, has it? Yeah. Well, men are blah blah blah, but that again, that's a symptom, isn't it? So that does.
She's talking specifically about child support here, and child support isn't anything to do with feminism. That's to do with courts and family courts and all legislation.
Yep. I agree with you again. That's a shame, isn't it? I thought we were going to disagree something on them, but no. Basically, I understood what you said, and yes, you're right. Piss off, Jake.
We did disagree earlier, though.
Yeah, we did, but even that though, like when I was saying about the confidence, and even at the end of that, like that proves my point of how open-minded I am, and I always say I am, and I'm willing to be educated. That's the difference between like me and say trying to argue with a Muslim who's just so far up his own arse, he's indoctrinated and want to listen and then argue everything till the cows come home and the goats, and then have sex with them. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I do know what you mean, and that's why you can talk to Bobby, because he doesn't speak like that. He doesn't have that attitude that a lot of Muslims do have, where they have that superiority and they think they're right. Bobby will take the piss out of himself and he'll talk about other things because he knows the score.
Yep, but I think earlier, even when I said, she's holding that up, she's confident. Yes, I am right, but you were right in saying that blah, blah, blah for that reason. Like, it's a barrier. Like me, when I was depressed, that's why I grew a beard. It felt like I had a barrier between me and people. Do you know what I mean? So I understood what you like. And I thought, well, we're near enough. Probably we're both right on that. Like if I was 100% wrong, I'll say, right, I'm wrong. But I do believe that maybe she'd done that to sort of show that she's confident, but psychologically she was not confident. So we both probably saw that. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I like. Because I'm like, well, I wouldn't have looked at it like that until you said it. I would have been stuck in my way saying, oh, yeah, she's confident. She's holding that up. Look at me. I'm not wobbling.
That's a good thing. That's why these conversations are good.
Yeah, exactly. I love being educated for free. It's a bargain, mate. It's a bargain.
There you go. I do. I just love learning.
But I like to think differently. Something about my mind or something. I don't know. I'm just a weirdo. I just like to think, oh, I think this. What? You think that? Oh, now you said that. No, I think that as well as what I thought. Do you know what I mean? And that's it. That's how you grow as a person.
Yeah. And I have to do a lot of this when I've been writing my novel, because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to show through fiction different academic disciplines. So what I have to do is approach the subject from different frames of reference. So like I can look at something from a literary perspective and analyze it in terms of its language, but then I might look in the next chapter have a chapter that's about intelligence analysis. It might be a historical chapter. So each different way of looking at things brings a different way of understanding it.
Yep. I get that. That's Yeah, I think that's a lot more open as well, because it must become a point with you even writing a novel. It's like you're writing one thing, and then the next thing you're sort of debating yourself because of the
Yeah,
different rules.
but that is exactly what I want my novel to do. Is I want it to debate that, because my novel is really about an archive, and I'm debating and constantly updating how this character thinks throughout. So it's not that they're coming in with a fixed I think this. By the time you get to the end of it, you've been given all of these different ways to think about things. Now it's up to you to make that decision. I've shown you how to do it yourself. And I've not seen anyone try and approach this topic that I'm writing about in that way.
Which will make it more interesting to people to want to even pick up the book or buy the book, say, and read it, wouldn't it?
I hope so, because there's loads of books have been written about this subject, and they all do the same thing. But because it's about Rendlesham Forest, all they do is they talk about UFOs. This was a UFO. It must have been a UFO. It was an extraterrestrial experience. And I'm saying, no, that's not true. And I've looked at things like I got hold of the security manual that the police officers used in 1979, the official guidelines for how they should behave. And if you look at the Rendlesham incident and you follow the procedures, you can see in all their statements that they followed everything as they should have done it. If I hadn't known that, I wouldn't have been able to see the procedure. I have to say that where I got that from is a very good site that Andrew, who's often on Richie and Rogue's show, Scottish guy, bald head, you'd probably recognise him if you saw him. Jayok, he calls himself. He mentioned there's a website called Avalon Library, and there's loads and loads of documents on there on all different topics. So there's one on Rendlesham, and it was in there that I found this document that I'd never seen anywhere else. So if you're interested in sort of UFOs or any sort of conspiracies, there's loads and loads of stuff on there. Avalon Library, you know, you've got COVIDs on there, AIDS, all kinds of stuff. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, have a look. I'll put the name of it in the chat, actually.
Yeah.
It's free, by the way. You don't have to pay for any of it.
Even better.
Yeah. There's loads of stuff on there. FBI files, CIA files, Ministry of Defence files, all the stuff as well.
Yeah, I tell you, when you were saying that about your book, I remember having it's like a silver cover with a mammoth on it. I remember that, but the actual book it's weird. You might remember them anyway because you were English, didn't you? I'm sure you've read one or 10, but you read it and you get so far, but then it says blah blah blah, page 34, blah 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 blah, page 6, and then you got to read. And then you go, do you remember those sort of books?
Yeah, when you make a decision and you go to this.
Yeah, my nutting, mate. I used to cheat.
Yeah, I know the ones you mean. Yeah. If you want to take the left path, go to page 47. If you want to go up the stairs, go to page 50.
Yeah, I mean, to write a book like that would do my nutting, but I mean, I ended up like I sort of cheated with it. I basically just read it all the way through, type scenario. But quite not every word. You know what I mean? I cheated, like I said, but I just wanted to basically read the last like 2 pages, so I did.
Of course, why not? That's what you should be doing. But I'm going my way to say, even though I haven't even finished it yet, I'm not going to tell you what happens in Rendlesham Forest. That's up to you to decide. But I'm going to give you every single possible angle to look at, and then it's up to you.
The irony is, no one can tell us what actually happened at Rendlesham Forest anyway. No one.
No.
And if they did, got to the next day.
Well, I think you could find out what had happened there if you could access the American files, which at the moment we haven't got any of them. All we've got is the British files, and all they say to us is that something happened, we don't know what it was. It says a very worrying thing to happen at a nuclear facility.
Yeah. Bobby, I'm not being funny, mate, but you need to choose your girlfriends more. But yeah, I mean, blimey, I don't know what you were drinking, mate, but if she looked like a reptilian, that's the power of alcohol, mate. That'll make anything look good.
Yeah, a 20 pounds.
I'll tell you what, though, Bobby, I don't know where it is, right? But someone was saying, and I don't know if they've done a video about it or someone done a video about said person, but he went to the same place every day for like a month, I think it was. Might have been longer, might have been shorter, can't remember. And he'd sit down, and all he'd do in his mind, like he's drinking his coffee, but all he'd say in his mind is like, if you are whatever it was, like an alien, I think it was, like extraterrestrial life, whatever,
Yeah.
then come and sit down with me and introduce yourself. And that's all he'd done every single day. He used to go there, get a coffee, sit down, hours on end. He'd sit there. I think it was like 6 to 8 hours a day. He'd just sit there drinking coffee, have time to eat, but just keep saying like, you know, if you're an extraterrestrial and you can hear me, come and sit down. And eventually, apparently, someone sat down and said, "Yeah, how can I help you?" Like, what the F?
Things can happen.
But is that true? Who knows? But I heard it somewhere, somehow, through something. And imagine saying that in your brain and someone sat down and apparently he took his hat off and goes, "Yeah, we're about."
Well, there was a story in, I think it was 1914 in Portugal, a place called Fatima. There are 3 children said that Mary came to visit them and gave them these prophecies. There were various different ones, one of which was going to take place on a certain day in a couple of weeks' time. And when that day came round, obviously word had got around, there were between 70 to 100,000 people turned up to see if anything would happen. And they witnessed what was called the miracle of the sun. But none of the witnesses reported the same thing. They would say things like the sun seemed to fall from the sky, or the sun danced across the clouds. Now, the only thing we do know is that it was pissing down, and then it suddenly stopped raining, and everyone said clothes immediately went dry, and then the sun started doing all these strange things in the sky. Now, whether or not something did happen, or whether or not it was just their expectation that something would happen, we don't actually know. I mean, probably the most simplest explanation is they thought they were going to see something. They were looking up at the sky all the afternoon, so they got all, you know, the light was affecting their eyes. If you look at the sun too long, it does look moving around. But then again, was it a miracle? Who knows?
Even I've looked at the sun and looked away, and every time you blink, you can see it.
Yeah, exactly. But there were 70 to 100,000 people saw it, so maybe they did see something. But if anyone wants to look it up, it's called Fatima. Interesting story.
Anything like that, like, yeah, I'm open-minded. Of course, I listen to anything and that, but like then someone say, "Oh, I've told you that. Now, do you believe me?" I'll be like, "Well, I don't just believe one source." Do you know what I mean? Like, yes, yeah. I'm not going to call you a liar. I believe you believe in what you're saying, but that doesn't make it true either. So I need to do this. I need to do that. And like this bloke, unless I go to a certain place, like down in town, sit down and start doing what he done for a month to see if it happened to me. If it did, then I'd believe it. If it didn't, then there you go.
But again, coincidence that someone happened to be there that day. It's sometimes what we see and how we interpret it is not the same. There can be a discrepancy there. And that's why I said with Anne Widdecombe earlier, observe the facts. Don't speculate and make interpretations by identifying patterns that look convincing but actually aren't there.
Yep. And I hate being duped. That's why I'm so sort of stand backish and and ahhing all the time over, say, Christianity or whatever it may be. Do you know what I mean? Because, like, I believe there's certain things that may be true, but as a whole thing and every single word, I don't know. How am I supposed to?
I just can't, because I just think it's a man-made book, and
Yep.
if that's man-made, what else is man-made about it?
Yeah,
and
I don't like. You can look at it like they call it the Bible, but there are things in that they can put to, that they say, right, that has happened, or oh look, it says this, and you look at that, and you can see, yes, it tallies up with
Yeah.
the book that you call the Bible, yes, but we've got history books. This might
Yeah.
have been the first ever one to record certain things.
Yeah.
I mean,
And you can also say, yeah, there's a lot of things you say, right, can historically or archaeologically point out where this place was. But there's also a lot of bollocks in there that you can't prove ever happened. Like, how do we
exactly.
know
So
that
is
Lazarus was risen from the dead? We
and
don't know.
you get a story like you win £1 million. By the time you told the 6th or 7,000th person, apparently you won £100 million. Do you know what I mean? We like to
Yeah.
embellish bollocks, don't we? Embellish this,
Yeah.
embellish that. It hides the
Now,
truth.
This is actually something that's been really fascinating in my novel the past week, is that I noticed that the story of Rendlesham Forest, the official story, came out obviously as it did, but at the same time someone snipped what happened on the base out about 2 days afterwards. So you had two stories, an official and an unofficial, both saying the same thing. And that's really, really unusual, because usually, like you said, events get embellished over time, which they obviously have with Rendlesham Forest. But the fact that the unofficial and the official narrative both say the same thing, there's got to be something to it, I think.
But then I think there's always something to it until you've proven that there isn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then sometimes you can say, like, there's nothing to it until you've proven that there is. It depends what way you want to.
It does. I just think that there's a lot of people online. I know people in that are smart people and they don't do this, but they see this all the time. People making connections between things that aren't actually necessarily connected. Like, you always see someone will say, oh, it's the Fabians. Well, they probably don't even know who the fucking Fabians are, for a start. I've heard this word being thrown around. Or another one is, we quite often see people say, oh, it's suicidal empathy. But they've got no idea what it means. They've just heard someone say it, and they connect it to an event. They think the two things must be the same. And interpretation is something we should try and hold back on as much as possible.
Yeah, I just think we're just so, as a race, I think we're just too naive. I think there's more to come, whether it's through science or what, I don't know. But there's so much more. There's so much more that's bigger than what we think.
Yeah, there absolutely.
There's going to be stuff that comes out that would blow our minds, but we're not going to know for hundreds of years yet.
I think that that's probably a lot of truth in that, but I also think there's things we can do for ourselves, self-knowledge, self-improvement. I don't mean like self-help books and all that shit, but I mean just learning whatever interests you, to try and get as much out of the existence that we have and understand it as best as you can, I think is, and then, try and do that with people and encourage other people to do it. I think it's the only way that we really can go about doing things.
Yep. And what's the point of being that brainy, say someone like Jordan Peterson, for argument's sake, or even yourself, Jake, to know what you know in life, and to be like, in years to come, when you're finally laying there on your deathbed, what was the point of learning all of that for it just to be snuffed out? That's the end of it. Well, that can't be the case. There's got to be something after that. Why would you go through 50, 40, 80 years on this planet to then just wipe it all out? Nothing. Doesn't matter. That doesn't make sense. Like, the knowledge you're gaining now has got to be for a reason, and it's got to be the next step, surely.
I mean, you could, if you wanted to look at it in that way, there's the argument that energy never dies, so that actually you don't ever die. So perhaps it lives on in that way, and you go on, you have another life, and that's what you achieve here. In the next time around, you get to start again. But I think that once you start again, you forget, and you have to learn it all and there'll be things
yeah,
that you remember.
Yeah, 100%. I reckon you sort of, should we say God? Yeah, there'd be an agreement between you and the Creator, whether you want to call him God or not, that he will say, you are going to this earth to do such and such. But when you are born, you will know nothing. You have to learn it all. And that, I think, is what happens to us over and over and over. Because there's no way. I mean, why would we be on this planet and people come up with an idea of a mermaid or a dragon? Where does that come from? What have you got in your DNA that something in your soul triggered it?
And none of us have the answers to this, but one thing I've come recently to thinking about, and I quite like the idea metaphorically, is the concept that we are like waves on the sea, and that one wave comes over and then it folds back into the sea, then the wave comes up again. It's not the same cause of water, it's different, it's changed, it's a different wave. And I think that's what we are like. We're just waves that get absorbed back into the water and then altered in the next life that we have.
Definitely. Yep. We could be somewhere we come back as someone else.
Yeah, it's not something I've really thought through, though, to be honest.
No, I mean, I have little moments. Do you know, sometimes like that sort of stuff is worse for me in my head when I'm sort of starting to go downhill with my depression.
Yeah.
Or bipolar or whatever the bloody day it is. And that's when I start really thinking about, like, there's no way that, like I'm saying, that we could be here to learn something over, say, 80 years, but then for that to count for nothing, it doesn't make sense. And like when we look at planets, why have we got all these planets around us that do all this circly, and we've got the sun and we've got the moon and all that, yet nowhere else with a telescope or any other type of, you know, like the James Hubble, whatever it may be, James Webb, sorry, like where else has got that? Nowhere. So why, where we are here, has it got that? Why have we got all these planets that do that? And we come up, we've got Mars, Jupiter, Neptune, and it just seems so weird or planned, fixed, that we just happen to have X amount of planets all lined up that all do this, but nowhere else in the universe has it, apparently. But just where we are, it is so we can live. How convenient.
Well, that's the thing. The way it all interacts, you know, like the way the different gravitational fields hold everything in place, that is what I refer to as God. All those things that you've just said, all the bits we don't understand, that's what I think God is. I don't like the story of God in the Bible. I don't agree with those things. I agree with some of the morals that are in there, but I think it's a man-made thing. Obviously, I know there are people that do believe very devoutly in the chat, and that's fine. That's up to them. They can believe that. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But I don't have a fixed idea of what God is. I just have a fixed idea of what I think God isn't.
What if, right? It's just flashed through my head that when we're not in this state or any other state of wherever we may be in the universe learning, when we go back with, say, a creator or our spiritual home, wherever it may be, when we're there, I wonder if we're looking and we were the creators of all this and the planets and everything. We set it all up accordingly so we could come here as said human to then experience taste, touch, education, thoughts, love, jealousy. You know, it's all set up accordingly. Like we made our own scenery, our own playground, so to speak. And we're like, right, okay, right, we're going to put your soul into that. And then you've got to live that, but you won't know anything about it. You can't go there and know that we created this. And, you know, you've been over there at Planet Zigzag and done whatever. And you were a rock over there and you were a dragon over there. But yeah, you're not going to know none of that, geese. Like, just go there, clean slate. You're like, yeah, go on then, let's do that.
Yeah, anything's possible, isn't it? I like the idea I think, as a metaphor rather than a reality of a reincarnation, in all the things that you have in this particular life, all the hardships that you have, next time around you don't have. And I think that when you then have them, is how you deal with not having them determines where you go in the next one after that. So you might be really poor in this life, next life you're mega rich, but it's how you deal with being mega rich that will then define how you are in the stage afterwards.
Yep, I think
And there's part of us that keeps coming back over time, and every time we're born, we forget everything, we learn it again, and we certainly can recall some things from our past life, or certain things stand out to us as, oh, I've learned that before, or I know that, or I know you, or something. There's things that are far beyond our comprehension.
Definitely. Yep. Do your brain in, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But maybe that's the thing.
Bobby has just said that Apache Indian, the original otter, is now an imam. Whatever next? Do you remember?
You can make
Apache?
it up. What is the fascination of praying to a PDF? I just don't get it. Just don't get it.
I don't get all that bending over either. I don't get all that beating women and raping them either. Or the cousin marriage.
Yeah. Imagine that. You're going to go onto that planet and you will defend a paedophile prophet. You will be pro-incest. And you're going to really get horny with the goats.
And you're going to party like it's 6:49.
Hey, that's a good one. I like that. Yeah, definitely. And we're going to leave Pearl frozen in time.
Yeah, frozen because she was shit.
But there was a time I liked her. I don't know why I don't. I think it's her voice started putting me off. I don't know. She probably said something that I just disagreed with. It's not like I dislike her. It's just some of her views or opinions I disagree with.
As far as I can recall, what I think happened in this debate is when it gets to the next round, I'm pretty sure that Anna just tore her to shreds about her evidence and being made up and being really shit and just completely humiliated her, which was quite amusing. People can look that up in their own time.
Yeah, the link is in the description to this video if you actually want to watch it. You need to start around 26 minutes in when they actually appear on stage as well, because of all their fluff at the beginning. It's a bloody nightmare.
I will just put in the name of the videos I mentioned earlier that were actually good discussions. If you want to hear a good discussion, there was young Bob with Antifa, and it was Age of the Matrix,
Matrix. Oh, a bit of Keanu.
It might be part 3. Keanu. The one with Edge of the Matrix, this one, he's talking to a gay bloke. He talks to him for about an hour. That's quite a good chat. Oh, and also I have to mention, as they are one of my favourite YouTubers, but if you haven't watched Nuria's video about Anne Widdecombe, go and look at this tribute I've seen to Anne Widdecombe so far. Really, really good. And I think she uploaded it either today or yesterday. She uploaded it, so it's well worth watching. She does put some videos up of Anne as well. But what impressed me which is again why I'm impressed by the channel, is she speaks very, very eloquently and properly, and doesn't get overexcited, doesn't do ad hominems. And like I say, the way that she spoke about Anne Widdecombe is a really, really fitting tribute. If you haven't seen it, it's worth a watch.
There we go, ladies and gents.
And
there's too much to tell, but we're not listening.
Go to Avalon Library to get documents that you probably shouldn't get hold of.
Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna check that out myself. I'm gonna write that down a minute. All my pads and that. I'm not organised yet. I normally got a pad and pen here.
You'll love it on loads of stuff on the.
Look, it's getting dark. You can't see my alien.
No, you can't. That's a shame.
God's sake!
Looks like
It's all too
Brendel
close.
Forest behind you. All those lights.
God's sake! That was supposed to be a planet. That's supposed to be an alien. That's supposed to say hello. Oh well. There we go. Money wasted.
Drew, I agree, Drew. That is a fair point. Pearl isn't a debater; she is a podcaster.
Yeah.
But then is Anna.
Yeah.
So Jennifer Juniper, she agreed. I'm glad to see Jennifer Juniper agrees. She's seen the video. But the reason I mention her so often is because I think she's got such an unusual voice, and I think it deserves to get more of an audience, because it's not often you get ex-Muslims, and it's often you get ex-Muslims who are more sort of centre-right as well, and a traditionalist.
Yep. Definitely. Yeah, we'll have to see about doing. I was in again today, like about whether going down, like, you know, where we talk about Islam or whatever. Maybe a call in, we could do one or whatever. But I always feel like YouTube's going to shadow ban me and whatever. So maybe I could call it something different in the title to try and get around it. But
yeah, I mean, for me,
say
there's not really much point talking about it, because people don't, from the other side, and they're not going to listen.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. Definitely.
It always happens exactly the same way, that they will be rude, then they will accuse you of being the one that's being rude and insulting, then they'll say you've insulted their religion, then they'll call you a cunt or something and say that you started it, and then they'll just make shitty digs all the time and not get round to talking about anything, and then they'll go off about 10 minutes telling you about something in the Quran that you're not interested in, and then they'll try and start a fight. And that's usually it. The best way is not to talk to them at all.
Yep, sounds about right.
Except for Bobby, he's all right. And Shoaib.
Oh, well, there we go, ladies. We've got 2 hours, 6 minutes, and we watched probably about 9 minutes worth, 8 minutes worth. So, go.
Not bad, is it? I think we did all right.
Not bad at all for us. Done well.
I think but let's be honest, we didn't actually get past the first round, did we?
No. Things I was a bit like, I don't know.
Out in the group stages.
Yeah. I don't know. I was just not. I wasn't really in for that. I know Anna Kasparian, what she stands for, which I don't like, and then there's Pearl and her voice and some of the stuff she says that I don't like. So maybe I'm a bit biased. Just
Well, that's another thing important. We can't forget that whatever situation we go into, we are bringing our own biases with us. We can't. It's something you can't help. You are the product of your environment. You have certain beliefs because of the way that you've been brought up and the way that you've learned things, where you've had experiences that you can't help.
Yep.
Any drink, although I don't drink.
Yeah. Pubs. Some pubs do sell
I don't go
coffee.
to pubs either. I don't like pubs, but I do appreciate the principle, and so that would be fun to do.
Definitely. Don't worry about being late, Jenny. The fact is you're here. Oh, happy days.
And it's always a pleasure to see Juniper.
That's what I say. You can't argue with stupid. We can't educate stupid.
Yeah, you can't. I think it's a Mark Twain quote or something like, never argue with anyone stupid, because they will only bring you down to their level with experience and beat you with their experience. And it's true. You can't argue with somebody that's stupid.
Right.
It's best to do with somebody that's stupid is to let them speak.
Yeah.
And then ask them simple questions to justify those beliefs. And usually they just fall apart quite quickly. The Edge of the Matrix is very good at this.
Yeah. Well, there we go. I was going to say Sunday. What was I saying? Sunday. I've gone brain dead.
Yeah.
We're back Sunday at 1. That's all you need to know. I don't know what I was going to say about it. But...
Tomorrow.
What?
Is it tomorrow?
Sunday. Oh, no, tomorrow. Yeah. What are we doing tomorrow? Oh, that debate. Yes, 7 o'clock tomorrow night. Yes, that is all set up to go. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that because we're making up for Tuesday. That's why. Oh, that's what I was probably thinking about Sunday.
Oh. If I reminded you, no, I'm not that intelligent. I'm really not. What is intelligence? What is it?
Yeah, what is it? Yeah.
Yes, I've read a lot of books. Read some books. I've got some letters after my name. Yes, I admit that. That doesn't mean that I'm any more intelligent than someone that doesn't have that.
Yeah, there you go then, told. So tomorrow night, right, yeah, we've got a debate video. It's only about, I don't know, 12, 15 minutes long, something like that. So we might actually get through that. So that'd be good.
Yeah, we might get through it. I think it's on reparations and slavery.
Yeah,
to be one of my areas of expertise.
Let's have a look. Live.
I promise that's nice.
Oh yes. Race Beta Speechless. Genius man silenced her argument about colonization and reparation.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. 2 secs. Oh my god, I just pulled a muscle. Oh!
Now,
I pulled a hamstring.
Oh no.
Oh,
I did that yesterday. No, that happened to me yesterday and it pulled the nerve in my back. It really hurt.
Oh, careful, sciatic nerve as well. Oh, yeah. That'd do damage.
My knee really hurt, so I grabbed the ankle and went, to pull up the back of my leg, like you do when you do warm-ups.
Yep.
And it got about halfway up there, and I just felt this really sharp pain right down my back, and I had to sit down afterwards. It hurt. Fuck.
Yeah. Oh dear.
So that's the exercise I've done recently. I'm not going to be doing it again.
Nah. It's a video for 15 minutes. It's a 15-minute long video, I think. I could have looked when I was...
Yeah, they talk about slavery and reparations. And, yeah, we were just going to talk about that.
Yeah, we're going to agree or disagree and fight and headbutt and knee in the bollocks type over it.
I think it's a good one to look at, because something that comes up a lot. It's a great thing for people to be... to brush up on and know a bit more about, so that then when they get into arguments with trolls on our channels, they've got plenty of ammunition to fire back at them and things like that. I'm just kidding. I know no one on here ever trolls anyone.
There we go. It's going to be Kirsty. That's tomorrow night. It's a bonus on the Friday at 7 to make up for Tuesdays.
Also, I think it's worth mentioning that it's great to see you back, Wiz. I'm sure everyone's appreciative of that, and we all understand if you want to take the break that you did. Great. Also, it's great to see all the people in the chat. And what I think is really, really good is we're now seeing people from not just this community, but from other channels as well. There's a lot of cross-community things that are happening, and there really is, I think, a genuine larger community that is building around, and I think that's a really, really good thing. Whoa.
My bad. I forgot I didn't put the actual light on, so that's my only light source, and I couldn't get the plug back in.
Oh. I think it's really, really good though that there are people on here that they're creating online communities, and you see people around in different places and you get to know them, and I think that's a really good thing. Like Jennifer Juniper, for example. I've never met Jennifer Juniper. I've only ever spoken with her in the chat. She seems perfectly lovely, and I'm glad that she's here this evening. Same with everybody else.
What was I going to say? Yeah. The memberships are different to subscribers. The subscribers, I actually had 6765, and now I've got 6757. So I think it might have been a bit higher than that, but yeah, I don't know what happened there. But memberships, they still be subscribed to the channel, but the membership just runs out. Do you know what I mean? So, but the memberships is quite high at the moment. Actually, I broke my record with 200 and something. But
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
the
and
last.
before I forget, if there is anyone on here, probably isn't, but if there are any Substackers on here, I haven't put anything up for a while. It's not that I've given up on it. I just have been busy on my novel, so sorry about that.
I've currently got last 30 days, 208 members, of which 6 are reoccurring membership and 202 are a limited time membership, i.e. gifted. And there's been 105 cancellations in the previous 30 days. But that's just where it runs out. Obviously, I'm not expecting people to renew it, so that's irrelevant, really. So, but, you know, that's what it is. That's what it is. But,
like I say, it's a really good community that you're building here of people that are intelligent, thinkers. They've got a great sense of humour as well. They love a good piss take, like taking the piss out of each other. But I think that the people on here do look out for each other. Like the amount of people that have been asking about Defiant Fox, for example. You know, we all know that he's had troubles, and we all want him to do well. That's what I think is a really good thing about channels such as yours and like Bess is doing as well.
yeah, it's got to be done, isn't it? I love it. I do. I haven't got a life, so this is my life. Basically, I don't mind admitting it.
And what's wrong with that? That's a good thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
And there's a really good community that are here that I think, above all, are loyal. That I really like about, and what makes me want to come back is they're loyal.
Yep. No,
that's what
Drew. Jake doesn't have a channel, but if you want to donate any super chats, I'll make sure they do not get to him.
Well, actually, that's not true. I do have a channel, because you have to have a channel on YouTube. I do have one. I don't put anything on it. It's got a couple of guitar videos on it, but I don't do anything on it. To be honest, the reason why is because I can't be asked with doing things like thumbnails and uploading videos and editing them. It's just, I can't be bothered with it. I just would rather just... Yeah, I'd rather just sit there and have a chat. You know?
Yep, sounds like a plan. That's what we do here. So yeah,
yeah.
It's going to be it'd be more involvement with you guys because we do the Sunday. Which we say there'd be a certain topic you can call in. We can all talk about, debate or whatever. Tuesday, you'll literally choose whatever. Whether there's, like I said earlier, if there's a video you want us to review, or might be a news story, something you've seen on X, whatever it is, you let us know, and then we make it up as we go along on a Tuesday. Wednesday, I'll do the news. I'll find all the juicy news that's going on. And then on a Thursday evening, Jake and I will review a certain video of probably Jake's choice. Because I do have videos set aside. Jake sends me a link, I watch it, and I'm like, oh, that's better than my one. So it's normally what you choose. So I'm like, yep, that'll do. So that's going to be our week. And that's 4 weeks. And plus any videos that I load up in between, so make sure you watch them, like them, and share them, and what's that other thing? You can hype them and all that malarkey.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, when you talk about whatever you like, we all bring our different skills and different knowledge bases to it. And there's lots of things that we know, lots of things that we don't know, and all of us can learn things from them.
Yep. And if you're wondering, that's not lights behind me. That's my aura, because I am indeed Jesus.
Yeah, it is.
Just to put that to bed. I don't want you thinking like I'm like a Bobby and I'm bullshitting or something. Hey, Bobby.
Or is it that you've got 2 luminous ears?
Bobby's like, man, that's not right, mate. I've already met Jesus. I copied with him when I was working at Tesla. Come on, Bobby. Dear. No, Jesus did walk on water. I walked with him, mate.
Yeah. He did.
But that's why I'm Muslim. That's why I'm still Muslim.
There's not really anything you can say to that, is there?
What's the purple gift box about? It keeps.
Well,
No.
don't know.
What? I have no idea.
I saw this on. It wasn't on here. It was on Dan Wood's channel. It kept appearing at the screen. There'd be a little purple box. I think it said someone was giving you a gift, but I don't know what it is. I don't have money to spend on gifts like that. I wouldn't know.
I have no idea. I'm trying to only get onto the live myself and see, but
I haven't seen it this evening. But then I'm on StreamYard. I'm not YouTube.
oh, do you mean the little purple thing like Slim with that thing? Because it says like he's number one.
No, it's not that. It's like a graphic that comes up. It looks like a purple present, and it appears at the top of the screen sometimes.
Oh, I don't know. Well, nothing's coming away.
Thank you, Carol, Georgina.
I'll have to keep an eye out for that then.
I don't know which one you prefer, Carol or Georgina. I'm going to say Georgina because I like that name better.
Georgina Carol. That'd be your name if you're Italian. Bobby.
My name is Jacopo, I think, in Italian.
Ooh.
As I once was with an Italian for about 3 or 4 years. And very good time we had.
How dare you waited all these years for me to come back and you call me a false Christ and false prophet? I am not Muhammad. How would you know I'm false? On what grounds can you tell me I am false? You can see me. I'm here. I'm real.
There.
What's
It's
up
not
with you,
AI.
man? I'm triggered now.
Yeah. Don't blame you.
What on earth can I... Look, there's water in here.
Well, I don't know about...
And water into coffee.
But
and it's going to cost you.
I am going to roll myself a fat one and enjoy the evening. I don't know everyone else.
Well, there you go. He's spoken. I bet very shortly I'm actually going to make Jake disappear. I mean, I don't know what more do you want me to do, Trigger Christian?
I know.
Water into coffee, Jake disappear. I mean, behind me heck. How can you say I'm not Jesus? I'm insulted.
Shocking. Absolutely shocking.
What are you on about? Don't you start joining Brillo Pad. Anyway,
if you could please bring in a drawing of Muhammad, that would be great. We'd like to show the best ones next time as an art exhibition.
Yes, I can draw a penis, so I'll be all right. I'm doing it.
Isn't it fun and childish?
Yes, it is. Look,
it is.
LOL wizard. Look, I call him a Brillo Pad, mate. I'm not holding back. You're not any type of sanitary towel. You'll be well harsh, wouldn't you? Being a Brillo Pad.
No.
Oh dear, I don't know where I'm going with that. My bad. But anyway, right. Jake wants to go. Let him go before he falls asleep live on air, and we all got to sit and watch him just snoozing.
You wouldn't want to watch that.
But he will be back tomorrow night, and we're going to do the video properly. Today was just, I think we're just dicking about. We've had swear words and all sorts. Even I've said the bollocks a couple of times. I'll try never to swear, but oh well, kiss my ass, innit? That's what I say. Not literally. I'm not a
Well,
goat, Mahmood.
Thank you very much, Wiz. Good to see you.
That's
Good
all
to
right,
see
mate.
everyone.
I'll send you the
And-
link for tomorrow during the day at some point.
Yeah, you're ready. See you later, everyone. Take care.
Take it easy, mate. Happy day. I told you. See? Trigger Christian, I just made Jake disappear. Are you telling me I am not Jesus? Muslims can't defend, full stop, mate. Happy days. But yes, 100%. I'm with you, Nelly. Nelly. Where's my nickname at school back in the 70s? Long story. Oh, you had to do the washing up. Who's got the Brillo pads? He has. Merlin, mate. Merlin's downstairs. Merlin is with his mummy. Not literally his mummy. I mean, my wife did not give birth to a chug, which is a chihuahua crossed with a pug. Don't know where I was going to go with that either. But anyway, it's been a pleasure, ladies and gents. 2.5 hours. Look at that. Happy days. And we got about 9 minutes of the video. But tomorrow we're back. We'll actually do the video. What we'll have to do tomorrow, because it should have been the Tuesdays one, which is like whatever, however, people can call in. We don't know what we're doing on a Tuesday because you choose. Someone will say, oh, can I come up and discuss that? Yes, you can. So we'll do that tomorrow. We're reviewing a video, but if you want to come up and review it with Jake and I, you are more than welcome. So Trigger Christian, Bobby, Drew, anyone, you want to come up, I'll put the link in. You can come up and we'll press play, we'll watch it, and we'll all have what we want to say and go from there. It's all good. So yes, it's what I said, so take it up with me. Happy days. I'm talking rubbish. Anyway, right, we're done, ladies and gents. 2.5 hours. Thank you very much for spending that with me and Jake. I really, really do appreciate it. I love you all. I love you more if you send super chats and Kofi donations and memberships. But Brillo Willow. But have fun, everyone. Take it easy. Live the dream. I've got some art to pick up. Otherwise, I'm going to stand on it when I go to bed. That's not good. But take it easy. Live the dream. Or whatever. But till tomorrow night, ladies and gents, 7 o'clock. Don't forget, Friday. It's a bonus. We don't do Fridays. But we will because I missed Tuesday because of bloody car. No excuses. Friday, 7 p.m, ladies and gents. But for now, like I say at the end of every single video, that is the wizard's words.